Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a little sit-down, chit-chatty, Q&A type of video. So I won't be doing a tutorial, but I thought for the back to school series that I would sit down and kind of do a little Q&A for you guys and do a little advice almost. I have 4 do's and 4 don'ts that I came up with when it comes to going back to school. So before we get into the video, as always, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, just hit the notification bell because that will make sure that you're notified each time I upload, and I upload 3 times a week, so you really won't want to miss out. So with that being said, let's get into this video. I think I'll start with the don'ts first, and then I'll go into the do's, and then we'll do a little Q&A at the end. I asked some of you guys on Twitter to ask me some questions regarding going back to school, and I will be answering some of those questions. So the first don't when it comes to going back to school is don't be so self-conscious. That's one thing that I wish that I wasn't so much of back in school, especially middle school and high school. I wish that I didn't worry so much about what other people might think of me, because I don't know, as I grew up I realized that people aren't so focused on you as you think that they are, and they're not so focused on your flaws, so to speak, that you think they are. And so I just wish that back in school I wouldn't have been so concerned about my physical appearance or, you know, the group of friends that I had. I just wish I wasn't so self-conscious. So that's my first don't. The second don't that I have is don't let your grades determine your self-worth. I know that a lot of times if you flunk a test, and it happens to the best of us, believe me, I feel like a lot of times you can really take that to heart and really let it get you down. It kind of made me feel like a failure every time that would happen, but really, you know, as long as I did my best and I could kind of self-check on that and just be like, you know what, I did my best, I tried my hardest, this is what I got, then I could kind of just brush it to the side and just try to do better next time instead of really getting down over it and, you know, making it affect my self-worth and question myself and my, you know, abilities and capabilities and things like that. So that's my second don't. The third is don't worry so much. I feel like in school, looking back, I wish I didn't worry so much about, you know, just the little things. I think it's good to try to do your best, like I said, but don't be so concerned and so like worried to where you're focusing only on the negative things, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get this paper and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, or just like worrying about how you're gonna fit something into your schedule or whatever it might be. I feel like the more that you worry, the more negative, you know, your feelings become, and the more it kind of stalls you in achieving or in really progressing or being productive, because I feel like I'm somebody who kind of can get overwhelmed with worries and with just thinking too hard about all the things that I have to do, to the point where I just kind of shut down and go numb, and I don't end up getting as much done as I could if I just kind of focused and dedicated a little bit of time towards the things that I really needed to do. So that's my third don't, is to try not to worry so much. The fourth don't when going back to school is try not to compare yourself to others. And I feel like this is a really important one because we do this subconsciously everywhere we go. I feel like it's okay to compare in positive ways, but if you're comparing yourself and comparing somebody's outfit to yours, or I don't know, some chick has a more expensive backpack than you, or oh my goodness, like she's prettier than you, or someone's smarter than you, or more athletic than you, like that's just gonna get you down, and that will just be a surefire way to be really upset, you know, most of the time. And I feel like it's important not to compare, especially in school, because everyone is so different. So I think it's so important to just embrace everybody, embrace everyone's different walks of life. You don't know what people are going through, so it's really good to not compare yourself to others, but instead just be confident in your own skin and in who you are, and just let that shine through instead, and not let your thoughts become so caught up in, you know, so-and-so or this girl over here or that guy over there, you know? Just don't compare. I really wish that I wouldn't have done that so much, because I feel like it all goes together. Like, comparing yourself can lead to being self-conscious. Do you know what I mean? Those are the things that I wish that I would have tried a little harder at looking back at school. So now, on a positive note, I have 4 do's when it comes to going back to school. The first one is to set your own trends. Pave a path Be yourself. That's the best part about going to school, is being able to surround yourself by so many different people who can inspire you, and you can also inspire them. So just set your own trends. Don't worry so much about following, you know, this certain social norm. Be comfortable with stepping outside of the box a little bit and actually staying true to yourself and not worrying so much about other people's opinions. I find it refreshing when somebody sets their own trends and kind of blazes a trail, and so that's one thing that I wish I would have tried to do a little bit more, is kind of do my own thing a little bit, because I am somebody who can kind of be a follower, but I've realized recently that I am much more of a leader, and so setting trends is always fun to do, no matter what that might be. So that's something that I would encourage you guys to do. The second do is to find new friends. I want to challenge you guys to find somebody new that you don't really know, that maybe you weren't really sure about or haven't really seen around very much, and just go talk to them. You never know what kind of friendship can be built off of the most random and unexpected situation or people. I find that to be such a fun thing when you just become really close friends with somebody who maybe doesn't have all the same interests as you, or it wasn't in the, you know, same clique as you growing up, you know? So I would highly encourage you guys to find new friends. Also, for those of you who are going to a new school, I know what that feels like, and I can honestly say that I don't think there's a worse feeling in the world than walking into a lunchroom and not knowing a soul. I have done that so many times, and because of that though, I feel like I'm paying much more attention to the new kid at school, and so I would encourage you guys to kind of look around and see if there's anybody like that in your school who might be new that you can befriend and just help feel welcome. Or if you are that new person, I would kind of challenge you to look around for somebody else who might be in your same shoes, because a lot of times in that situation you feel so alone, when in reality there might be someone just like you who is brand new sitting in the corner by themselves that needs a friend as well. So be confident with that and just kind of step forward, be the bigger person, and just kind of go try to meet somebody. I know it's really hard when you're new, and please, if you aren't new at school and you see somebody like that, be that person that makes them feel welcome and loved, because I cannot tell you enough, they will never forget you if you do. The third do is kind of something that I've kind of touched on already, but I think that you should be confident and be you. A lot of times that's really hard. You know, you hear, oh, be confident, be yourself, but it's actually not that easy a lot of times, and I feel like it doesn't come that easy to a lot of people, and I know I was like that as well growing up. I had a lot of insecurities. Everybody goes through that. Everyone, you know, compares themselves to others, but I feel like, honestly, looking back, I wish I would have just not cared as much, and I wish I would have just been more confident and more outgoing and more true to myself and to my personality, and not been so shy sometimes. I was really shy actually throughout school, when in reality I'm much more energetic and I am very social, but for some reason school kind of brought out the quiet side of me, and I wish I would have been a little bit more confident to really shine and show my spunkier side at school and in public. I would encourage you guys to try to be confident this year and just honestly stay true to yourself. I think that you'll find a lot of joy doing that. The fourth do that I came up with was to think outside the box, and what I meant by this is, you know, a lot of times in school you kind of are put in a box, so to speak, where, you know, you go to school and you're kind of caught up in this routine of, you know, okay, go to math from this time to this time, then I have gym from this time to this time, and it's easy to get caught up in that routine, and then by the end of school, by the time you're graduating, you know, there's a certain way of life, there's a certain way to do things, and I just felt like in school I was kind of put in a box, and without even really realizing it, I put myself in that box of just not really being open to the possibilities or to exploring my own talents in school, and I just felt like I had to, you know, show up and do well in my academics so that I could apply to a university, so that I could get a degree in something academic, when really I'm a really creative person. So I just think that, especially nowadays with social media, I feel like I wish I would have thought outside of the box, and you guys nowadays have so much more of an opportunity to do this. But if you have a talent or a gift or a dream or a passion, I feel like it's fun and it's really healthy to think outside the box and start planning for that now and start working towards that now, instead of getting too caught up in like the day-to-day parts of school. You know, if you have a dream and a goal towards something, like think outside of the box and kind of think outside of the typical way to accomplish your dreams. I don't know, I hope that made sense, but that's something that I just thought would be really helpful for me looking back is to kind of not get too stuck in that rut and that routine. Keep it fresh for yourself, keep yourself creative, whatever that means for you, and just kind of start to think outside the box and kind of think about your future and what you truly desire and your dreams and goals, and think about how you can get there and how you can start to work towards that now. Okay, so that's all I have for that. So, like I said before, I asked you guys on Twitter to tweet me some questions about school. Candace asked, what is your must-have item in your bag every day for school? And I would have to say, besides like school supplies, like I need pens. Like I hate writing with pencils unless they're mechanical. So besides like that, I feel like I would say a lip balm. Burt's Bees chapstick would probably be my essential. Also my wallet so that I can buy food in between my classes. Snacks. Snacks is an essential. Gotta do that. Sammy Roge asked, what was your favorite thing about going back to school? I think looking back, I've always been somebody who likes change in a way. I like fresh starts, and so going back to school was kind of a way to, I don't know, embrace a new beginning, embrace a fresh start. I love just being able to go to school knowing that there was a bunch of new, fresh opportunities in front of me and new people to meet and new classes to take. So that part of school I really enjoyed, was just, you know, the beginning of like starting something new and being able to accomplish, you know, something. I don't know, like being able to accomplish another grade or another class or whatever it is. I really like that. Gina Tran, hi Gina. She asked, what are some of your go-to outfits in high school? Girl, do you really want to know? Okay, listen, there was no Pinterest when I was in high school, okay? So there was none of this like Brandy Melville inspired looks I see all y'all doing. Okay, my outfit literally every single day was a sweatshirt, jeans, and boots. Like suede boots. Cute, right? Yeah, I know. But honestly, I just wore stuff that was really comfortable, and I honestly, like, I felt like if my makeup looked nice, if my makeup looked fresh and natural, you know, then I wouldn't have to care about my hair or my outfit. So that's what I did. I would always make sure that my makeup was really flawless, and then I would go in sweats. It's all about balance, you know what I mean? Jen the Hen 77 asked, SOS, I'm starting my freshman year of college this month. Advice? Here's my advice. When you're starting college, I feel like that's almost more scary because a lot of times you're moving out of town, out of state. You're going to be around people that you do not know, unless a friend comes with you or something like that. But my advice to you would be, if there's a freshman orientation, if there's things that are meant to, you know, help the freshmen meet, like, even though that sounds cheesy and sometimes that sounds like something you probably don't want to attend, I would highly recommend attending them, because the majority of my friends that I met, besides my roommates, were people that I met from freshman orientation, and just kind of, you know, being a part of those activities and just jumping in right away and just kind of getting to know everybody. Because guess what? That pool of freshmen, they're all in your shoes as well, and so everyone is so open to just socializing and just getting to know each other. So that's what I would recommend as a starting freshman, is to, you know, jump in the social life, and that will make it so much easier to feel comfortable, you know, if you make a few friends, especially in the beginning. Bananarama asked, did you in your time at school ever know exactly what you wanted to do? I'm at this crossroads where I've just graduated and have no idea. So honestly, I feel like my ideas of what I wanted to do changed all the time. I feel like it's so easy for us to really judge people who don't really know what they want to do, even though the majority of us are in that boat. I remember, like, you know, when you go to school and all the freshmen are like, what's your major? What's your major? What's your major? And everyone's like, oh, you know, it's exercise science, or graphic design, or oh, I'm gonna be, you know, this or that. And then you always have that handful of friends that are like, undeclared, like, I don't have my major. And I feel like everyone kind of like judged them, when really I feel like that's totally fine. Let's be honest, you guys, a lot of us don't know exactly what we're going to do, and I feel like, you know, it's important not to get down on yourself if you are in a crossroads of like, oh, like, you know, this isn't what I thought. Like, some people that I know go through school and college with a major, and then they get done with the major and they're like, actually no, I'm gonna do this instead, and they go to more schooling, or they get a job or a career that doesn't have anything to do with their major. And I think that's totally fine, you know? You just gotta kind of adjust to life and just trust yourself and your gut, whatever that is at whatever time, and that can change, to be honest. And I feel like that's what life's all about. You know, we come across these crossroads, so to speak, all the time throughout life, and I just think it's important to stick to your gut and really just kind of study it out in your mind. If there's a certain decision that you're really not sure about, write it down. That always helps me. If I just write down the pros and cons to both decisions, usually it becomes pretty clear as to which one would be a better route for me. Just know that I've experienced that. I still do sometimes, and I know I will in the future depending on certain decisions, and just go with your gut, go with the flow, be open to change, and be flexible to just kind of, you know, go wherever life is meant to take you. Jessica asked, how do you get over the anxiety of starting something new from college? I'm going to an internship for vet assistant and I'm so anxious. Starting something new, starting new chapters can be so scary, and I feel like recently I've been thinking a lot about how my fear has gotten the best of me, and there's so many decisions that I've made recently that, you know, I've done out of fear of something not working out, of something not going, you know, the way that I've planned, or of something happening in the worst way that it could happen. And I feel like there's so many decisions that I've made where, you know, if they're led by fear, I'm just left anxious, you know? And so I feel like do your best. You know, fear and anxiety is a real thing, and we all go through it at some point. But I would just say to, you know, embrace the newness, embrace the change. It's scary to approach something that's brand new. It's scary to enter something new. But at the same time, without those things that stretch us, we're not able to change. We're not able to grow. And I know it's really easy to sometimes get super worked up about or super worried about, you know, things not going right or not being able to perform well in something. But if we honestly really look deep into ourselves and we think about it, like, I think we're all way more capable than we allow ourselves to be sometimes. And if we don't let fear determine our actions, then I think we'll be able to find a lot of joy and a lot of growth just approaching and conquering, you know, these new things that come at us in life and these new opportunities that come at us. And Jessica, you are going to be an incredible assistant. Don't you doubt that for 1 second. If there's something that you guys are wanting to do and you have an internship or you're going into school for a major and you're nervous, like, don't doubt for 1 second that you're not capable, because you absolutely are. I wish that all of us as human beings would just trust ourselves a little more sometimes. We get so caught up in just being afraid of, you know, whatever it is, and we don't trust ourselves enough to be able to handle it or to be able to conquer it, you know? And I just wish we would. And so, Jessica, just trust yourself. You're gonna do really well. And that goes to all of you guys with whatever you're approaching. Wow! Turn on the camera and tell me to talk and I will, honey. That completes this video. I know it's so different than what I normally do here on my channel, but I thought that, you know, with going back to school, you know, back to school makeup tutorials are fun and cutesy and all that, but, you know, the reality hits sometimes and you're like, help! I'm going back to school and I'm nervous or whatever, I'm anxious, or, you know, I'm stressed, like, how do I deal? So I thought I would make this video to kind of help you guys and give you a little boost before you go to school. As always, if you guys have questions or if you have advice for any of us or for anybody else who might be going to school, or if you've been able to, you know, approach a situation that I mentioned here and something worked for you as far as how to handle it, please comment that down below. We can kind of start a discussion down below and pump each other up and get us all boosted and refreshed and ready to go to school to conquer whatever is coming in front of us, okay? Honestly, I love you all so much. You're all so incredible. Don't you ever forget that. And you're all so capable of accomplishing anything that you put your mind to. And whatever you want to accomplish, whatever your dream is, you guys, it is possible. All you have to do is work hard, believe in yourself, trust yourself, and it will happen. So just go for it this year, you guys. I'm so happy for all of you. Keep me posted on your first days of school, or, you know, whatever you're going through. I would love to be able to keep up with you guys this year. And please let me in on all your accomplishments. You're all so talented and amazing, and I look up to all of you so much. So I'm done babbling, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I seriously love you all so much. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye! Also, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to ask, my lip color is from Dose of Colors. It is called Plum Queen, and I'm living for it. So I will link it down below if you're interested. Bye!